I'm Amy Chambers, clarinet instructor, and I'm here to help you improve your intonation and play in tune. First, let's be sure that we are set up for success. Check that your instrument is assembled correctly, your bridge keys are lined up, and your reed, ligature, and mouthpiece are set up correctly. Your reed should be exactly in the middle of your mouthpiece, not off to one side or another. And you should just barely be able to see a sliver of the black mouthpiece behind it. Your ligature screws should just be firm enough to hold the reed in place. Sit tall and hold your instrument at about a 45-degree angle. Tuning is something you'll need to do every time you play and throughout your playing session. Here's an example of what being pretty much in tune sounds like. Notice how they both sound the same or pretty close? That's because these notes were in tune with one another. Here's an example of what being out of tune sounds like. Did you hear the beats in the sound? It sounded like wah, 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 wah. That's because those notes were not in tune. One of us needs to listen and adjust. Musicians always need to be listening to eliminate those beats and play in tune. Now, let's try it together. I'll start by playing a steady C. Listen carefully for a second and then join in with a strong, steady sound. If you heard the beats in the sound, that means that you and I aren't in tune. If you think you sound a little higher than you should or sharp, you should pull out just a bit at the barrel. It's typically not much more than the width of a dime. If you think you sound lower than you should or flat, then you need to play with a firm embouchure and push in at the barrel. You may need to adjust your voicing. That's a term for how we hold our tongues in our mouth. You want to keep it high and back, like you are saying E. Let's try it again and see if your adjustment made it better or worse. It's really common for students to not be able to tell if they are sharp or flat, especially when playing with an entire band. Just keep listening and adjusting. If you think you are sharp, then pull out. If you think you're flat, then push in. If it gets worse, try pushing or pulling the other way. This ear training takes practice. I'll play a C 2 more times. Make an adjustment. Hopefully by now we are close. Did you know that when clarinets are louder, they tend to play flat? What do you think happens when we play softer? We tend to go sharp. Unfortunately, this is the opposite tendency that brass players and even flute players have. Clarinet players can't constantly push or pull their barrel with every note, so it's crucial to listen and adjust your embouchure and your voicing. That's your tongue position. Here's a quick tip. As you crescendo or get louder, be sure to keep a firm embouchure and keep your tongue high and back to keep from going flat. As you decrescendo or get softer, be sure not to bite down. Let's try this together on a C. We'll crescendo and decrescendo. Let's breathe together and play together.
Continuing Continuing from where we left off, when playing crescendos and decrescendos, be sure to make the dynamic change gradual and even throughout the entire indication to get louder or softer. In other words, when playing a 4-beat long crescendo, increase your volume equally over all 4 beats.
Now that you've had practice holding your tune during a long tone, we'll play Etude number 2 together. First, let's take a minute and look over the music. You'll play the top line in each system, and I'll play the other parts with you. You'll start in unison or together with the bass clarinet part. Let's count through your parts first. 1, 3, 4, 1. 1, 3, 4, 1. And notice that the second clarinet part doesn't come in until measure 4. When we begin, we start off playing forte or loudly. Then we continue and play mezzo forte or medium loud. And finally, we end the piece playing very soft. Let's play, paying special attention to intonation. Be sure not to bite down and play sharp during the soft parts, and be sure to keep your embouchure firm and not play flat during the louder parts. You'll hear 4 clicks before we begin. And remember that the second clarinet part makes its entrance in the 4th measure. I hope this episode on tone and intonation was helpful. Be sure to check out episode 3 for tips on tonguing. Thanks for watching and happy clarinetting.